I really wish that I could go to the place where they shot Possession, though, because that is just the Andrzej Zułowski movie. That is there's a movie about a woman who has a relationship with a supernatural octopus, and believe me, that undersells its strangeness.
A movie with a supernatural octopus.
And the guy
that I am going to find and rent.
And this is even better. The guy that made the supernatural octopus,
Extreme Lighthouse?
No, is the same guy that built E.T. He's a guy called Carlos Rambaldi, and he made E.T. and he made the supernatural octopus, like almost back to back.
It occurs to me we should do a movie review.
Let's move on to The Lake House, because you've already read out a correspondence about The Lake House. What is it with Sandra Bullock? See, I really like Sandra Bullock as a presence. I think she's really nice. She's obviously very funny on screen. She's a good comedian and all the rest of it. But she cannot find projects that do her justice. Yes, she backed Crash recently, but then there's Hope Floats and, Forces of Nature and all those terrible films. Anyway, so The Lake House. Listen to this as a pitch. The Lake House is a time-traveling love story featuring a mailbox which acts as a portal between gaps in the space-time continuum, co-starring Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, who plays a visionary, talented but troubled architect. Now, I'm sorry, but I mean, even before you start the movie, you think it's not going to work.
Is there an octopus in it?
There is no octopus in it, and if there was, it would have made things a lot better. The story is there is the eponymous lake house, meaning the lake house of the title. Sandra...
I know what eponymous means.
You just gave me a look, like, don't come around here saying eponymous. I was going to say titular, but I prefer the word eponymous. Anyway, so it's a glass house. They both live in it together, except, and here's the twist, they are separated by 2 years. Due to a strange Doctor Who-style warp, they are able to communicate with each other by putting letters into a mailbox. Now, it turns out that Sandra can also put scarves into the mailbox that then go back in time, and books that haven't been published yet that then go back in time, without the whole universe imploding. You know how the butterfly effect works?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it doesn't for this. For the purposes of this film, it doesn't. Nor, for the purposes of this film, does Keanu Reeves, the minute he realises that Sandra Bullock is 2 years in the future, say, right, give me the stock prices from now until 2 years hence, because by the time I meet you, I'm going to be a millionaire. No. What he does is he writes letters to her. Oh, hey, Sandra, I'm a troubled but tortured architect, and I'm finding life really hard. And she writes back, oh, I'm a perky doctor, things haven't worked out for me. Now, amazingly, this is a remake of a South Korean film, which I haven't seen, called Il Maire, which apparently is slightly better, although it would have to be hard to be worse. It's absolute balderdash, really badly written by the guy who wrote Proof, incidentally, the stage play of Proof, who has clearly never read a time-travelling book in his life and doesn't understand that there are certain things you can't do, like passing scarves 2 years back. However, all this stuff aside, terrible acting, terrible script, terrible direction, bad idea, badly executed, goes on for ages, awful, awful, awful. The thing that bothered me the most was this. The glass house itself, the lake house, right? The titular eponymous lake house, yes. Right? It's made of glass, so you can see everything.
By a lake?
It is by a lake, so it's a glass lake house, right? It's made of glass, so you can see through it. Keanu Reeves keeps going upstairs into an attic. Cut to outside. There is no attic. There is no attic. It's a glass box with no attic. And Keanu, everyone's worrying about the time travel. I'm sitting there going, he's an architect. He's in a glass box. He goes upstairs. He's in an attic that is not connected to that building. It's like he's going, it's not just a temporal warp. He's literally in a TARDIS. He's coming out in another country. Why does it never occur to Keanu, who is allegedly an architect, to look at the building from outside and go, you know what, blimey Charlie, that house has got a lot of things going for it, but one of them isn't an attic.
Do you know why we're very different? I would probably still rather see that than Hard Candy.
Really?
Yes.
You're so wrong. But
no, because there's no mutilation involved. You know, I mean, on balance, I would rather shout at Keanu.
Actually, can I just say that to say there is no mutilation involved is not quite right, because the film does open. I'm not giving away anything here. The film does open with somebody being hit by a car. Now, minus 10 points to everybody who doesn't figure out who the person who got hit by the car was at the beginning, because you know how these films work? I'm sorry, it's a time travel. It begins with a moment, they fall in love. Did you see Time After Time? Did you see 12 Monkeys? Did you ever watch any? Is there an octopus in the lake? There is no octopus in the lake.